What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and do a very fast recap of the first two rounds of the tournament, just the teams moving forward and kind of how I'm viewing them in that fashion. Of course, I'm also going to go through all of the Sweet 16 games and give you my pick on those games, so look forward to that. And friendly reminder, here on my channel, I cover every single game against the spread. That's going to transition right to NBA playoffs after college basketball does come to a close, and then we're going to go right into baseball and cover it all summer long until we get back to that honey hole football season. So 365 here on the channel. Definitely hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video. I show up just about each and every day, so I hope you do appreciate it. These are my updated numbers, guys. Of course, the individual days, you can actually see the individual bets, the odds, and how many units were on each one posted on the community channel in the community section here on the channel. So if you're looking for finer details, go ahead and find them. They're all posted there. But after a crazy weekend of just very bland favorites just covering and just not much typical craziness, I end up in profit. So, maybe that's a surprise to some people, but generally for the professionals in this industry, when everything just kind of goes chalk, when all the favorites are just kind of taking care of business, generally that's a recipe for disaster. I'm trying to hunt out the contrarian plays. I'm looking for the sharper side of things, fading public money. So on a weekend of chalk, pretty much, it was kind of a bloodbath for the professionals. I know a lot of my friends in the industry are down. So to get through the first 4 days with a losing day and then a winning day and then a winning day and then a losing day to end up a third of a unit in profit, I'll take it. I'll move on. My bigger bets, the ones I have circled, my more confident plays ready for the Sweet 16. I'm looking forward to those. So looking to make some money here. And of course, still been making just a pile of money, even with those integrated numbers. You can see there over the last 33 days that I've bet on college basketball, I have a record of 96 wins, 63 losses, up 38.3 units. That is. So at $100 as a unit size, which is what I currently use, about $3,830. So a little bit short of $4,000 over that time span if you were on the client list copying my picks. So I already have sent out 2 to the client list as well. A little update for you there. I just like some early, so I sent them out here on Monday. Figured I'd get those out of the way. If you guys sign up for my picks, you will, of course, get those. I just can't promise the line will be the same because the people that were on the text list today when I sent it out, they got the number early. So if you sign up on Wednesday, Tuesday, whenever you're possibly seeing this video, I'll absolutely send you all the plays that have already been sent. And then you get all the other ones as well. A week, a month, doesn't matter. dancepicks.net. Link to the website in the description. One of the best in the business. 38 units in 33 days. What are we doing here? This is a lot of money. Even if you're only betting $20, $50, $100 a pop, this is thousands of dollars. So don't hesitate. These next 2 rounds are the money-making rounds. It was no difference than the conference tournaments. The first 2 rounds, generally kind of unpredictable, some volatility, weird lines. The lines are high. Are they going to be blowouts? Are the underdogs going to surprise people? Now we get these matchups in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. Thursday through Sunday is the weekend to make money. It's not on the back end either. It's not the national championship. It's not the final. Final Four is pretty good, but it's definitely not the national championship. The Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 is the perfect blend of having lots of games available, but good quality matchups with predictable, reliable teams. I got big plays in the mix for this coming weekend. So a simple weekly package, you can cancel right after you get it for a week. You could just pay $50 just to go through this coming week with me and absolutely cash out. Can't recommend that enough. So let me bring up Pickett Sports. Let me run through a couple of games, a little bit of a recap from the first weekend, and then we'll get right to Thursday, man. Start off with these Thursday games. Pull that up. You guys should be able to see that. All right, cool. So let's go back here. Today is the 24th. So let's go back. Let's just start on the 22nd here. I'm not going to bother with the first round. Let's look at the second round. Purdue took care of business. I think I told you guys I liked McNeese in my prediction video, but I didn't end up betting them. It was just too cute, too public. Purdue is the right side. Purdue actually is one of the teams that have been impressing me. The experience there on that team, it's looking pretty good. They lack some size. They lack some depth. But that starting 5 is as good as anyone. So I like Purdue moving forward. Solid team. Arkansas over St. John's. Told you that one. Yeah, it's a good team. They got this underdog mentality. Look, St. John's, it was nothing more than they just won too many games in a row. They were due for a clunker. They just didn't shoot the ball well. Not a team that was really relying on that for most of the year. And then they caught a Razorbacks team that could kind of, handle the physicality, and the shots weren't falling. Player of the year there in the Big East, he had a tough game. And all is over for St. John's. I know a lot of people had them going far, and I really like the team. I said for weeks coming into the tournament that St. John's needed to lose a game, like just lose a game, lose to someone in the Big East tournament. Like, you got to reset your competitive spirit. You just can't go into the tournament on a massive, massive winning streak. So they just overachieved, and, regression back to the mean is exactly what happened there. Michigan was a nice surprise. And I say nice surprise because there just wasn't many surprises, like in terms of betting, like not necessarily what we thought was going to happen, but like what was expected to happen. And I think a lot of the world was on Texas A&M. I definitely would have bet Texas A&M if I was going to bet that game. I didn't, but it was nice to see a team kind of surprise everybody. They did it in the Big Ten tournament. Now they're doing it here. Can they get Auburn? We're going to talk about that later in today's video. Texas Tech looks great. I bet them first half full game, cash both. Really, really good team. They're not even playing with McMillan right now. That's a national championship caliber team. Auburn looks like dog shit. They covered the spread. I did bet them -8.5. Thank God they got it together at the end of the game and cover that number. But they look bad. They look bad. I think Janai Broome is just not that athletic. He's not that big. If they have a tough day shooting, man, they can be had. So Auburn, I think Auburn's in deep trouble. I don't see them going too much further. BYU, Wisconsin, great game overall. I don't really have much to say, but I think BYU absolutely has a chance in this next round. Gonzaga, Houston, exactly as expected. The final score does not represent, though, what happened in that game. That was start to finish a pretty good butt whooping from Houston. I mean, they dominated the whole game, kind of collapsed in the last couple minutes, made it close. Houston still covered. I did bet Houston -4.5, so thank God we got that one over the hump, as all my plays on that particular day were bigger ones, 2 and 3 units, not just the standard ones. But yeah, Houston's good. The final score does not represent how well they dominated Gonzaga start to finish for the most part. So I like Houston moving forward. And then Tennessee as well. A good team, but still they rely on defense. And that scares me a little bit in the big tournament. Then on Sunday here, Maryland escaped. Definitely a clear travel. I guess we'll just scroll up here to the top. But yeah, Maryland definitely escaped. Travel at the end shouldn't have been called. I was hoping Colorado State would win that game because that would have presented us one of the best opportunities ever. Colorado State would have ended up playing Florida, and it doesn't matter what they put the spread at. We all could have just put our mortgages, our lives on the line, took out our kidney, sold it, wagered that money all on Florida against the spread. They would have absolutely lit up Colorado. That would have been maybe a 10-unit play. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know if I've had one in the entire last 365 days. But that probably would have been a 10-unit play. Would have been Florida over Colorado State if Colorado State just simply held on. Would have been the perfect storm of just kind of a bad overachieving team getting through on a buzzer beater and then getting Florida off one of Florida's tougher games where they didn't really play that well for most of it. It just would have been a home run. I would have bet the first half, the full game, the double result, alt spreads, the whole nine. So unfortunately, we didn't get that opportunity. But yeah, UConn and Florida. UConn's scrappy, man. If they didn't have to play Florida, they could have done some serious damage in this tournament. So shout out to UConn, man. They were kind of written off this year, and they still showed that they remain at the top of the conversation. Oklahoma State, should have bet that. I actually did really, really good with my NIT predictions. I gave both Army and Oklahoma State right there. So I guess I should have been thrown in some NIT as well. Might take a look at that this week. Probably not, but might, depending on the matchups. Baylor and Duke, this one surprised me. I thought Baylor could hang in there. I thought Duke would win by like 6, 7, maybe 8. So Duke looks really good. They got to play someone competent, though. I mean, when's the last time they played even one decent team? Illinois, Kentucky. My biggest regret of the weekend, probably. They gave us Kentucky at a plus money price, and I passed. I told you. I mean, one decent-looking game, Illinois over a Xavier team, and then a weird line making Illinois the favorite, and that was enough to spook me and just keep me off the game. But yeah, when I read the line, I thought it was a typo. I had to do a double, like, think about it, like double check. Am I crazy? Is this like falling into the trap? But shouldn't have overthought it. Should have just absolutely nuked their Kentucky at a plus price. Like I said in my prediction video, the much, much more reliable team offensively. Bama looks pretty good. St. Mary's, though, they were inside. They were getting stops. The bigs for St. Mary's are just not athletic, dude. They just look like big white guys you'd find in some bar in like Oklahoma. They're not basketball players. So I thought if there were just a couple more playmakers on St. Mary's, Alabama could have been had. I don't think the final score really tells the story there. I mean, it was a 7 to 9 point difference for a while, and St. Mary's would get a stop, and then they would just screw up on the offensive end. And then they would get another stop, and then they just couldn't do anything, and they just couldn't cover ground. And eventually the lead just kind of blossomed up to the final score there. But I don't put too much stock in Alabama. And then we talked about the Maryland game, Ole Miss, Iowa State. Injuries. This was just injuries. I think this is going to make Ole Miss a little bit overrated moving forward. Iowa State, yeah, they just really, since like midseason, they just never got back to their true form. It's a bummer. That roster, the first half of the year was who that team really was. And, you know, Lipsy said he was good to go. 85% was the report, but he could barely even walk on the court after he re-aggravated that groin early in the game. So they were pretty much cooked as soon as that happened. They just didn't have the bodies. I lost money on that one. New Mexico, Sparty, pretty good game, decent final score, but Sparty, once they actually like woke up and put their foot down, they were the better team. So as expected there. And then Oregon, Arizona. Told you guys Arizona. They got it done. Good looking team. Good game. I did kind of low key think, although I thought Arizona would beat Oregon, I kind of think after watching the game that Oregon might have been a bigger problem for Duke. So Arizona, Duke, we'll have to talk about that. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's round of 32. It's kind of my recap and how I'm thinking about these teams moving forward. 27th, Thursday, BYU, Alabama here. I think this is one of the games to at least be considered in the conversation for one of the upsets here. You know, looking over the Sweet 16 bracket, I don't see a ton of opportunity, but this is one. I'm going to lean BYU here. You know, it was that first round, just a combination of just good matchups and them having the advantage of playing in elevation. Maybe they're going to get tested here. I mean, we see their offense kind of overcome some of the teams that they've played. Yeah, this is going to be a track meet. Maybe take a look at the over. I know 175 points is a ton, but at the end of the day, is this not going to be like 95 to 100 or something like that? I'd lean over. I'd lean BYU on that one. Keep in mind, guys, today is just early leans. I will have an official spread prediction video later this week, the night before this tournament kicks off. So, you know, when injury reports and all the information and everything's up to speed and the lines have kind of moved a little bit, I'll redo it. I'll send out another video for you guys on Wednesday night with my official spread predictions. So we got Maryland here. We got Florida. And interesting game. I'm going to go with Florida to win this one, though. I think they're just too good. I think they're going to win the game. I mean, Maryland needed a buzzer beater and an extra step on that drive to get by Colorado State. You're getting Florida kind of off a bad performance. So I don't see an upset here. I'll go with Florida to win. Arizona and Duke, kind of like I talked about earlier in the video. I actually thought Oregon might give Duke more problems here. I've gone against Duke a lot, and Arizona is just not the team that I want to go against them with. I also think the Caleb Love factor, just everything that's kind of going into this game, I think that'll be the difference. I don't think they're going to be able to catch Duke sleeping in this one. I'm going to go with Duke to win this game. But one thing I will say is Proctor and those 3-pointers that he just kept drilling for Duke. When I see a player doing that, I almost like want to wave my hands to the coach and be like, yo, like tell him to stop. Like he's using up all of his shooting, like save some of that. So the fact that he's just gone absolutely bananas versus pretty bad competition over the first 2 days, if he goes ice cold, then you could talk about Arizona pulling this thing off. I'm still going to go with Duke, though, to avoid the upset. Arkansas and Texas Tech. Is this Arkansas team for real? Or did they just catch St. John's on a really bad day? Look, I got to see about McMillan. If he's playing for Texas Tech, that's a big difference. But even with the current roster that played in the first 2 rounds, I'm going to go with Texas Tech to find a way to survive here. Somehow, some way, win the game. I think they're the better team. They play a better strength of schedule, in my opinion. I think the SEC is third in line of the conferences. I think they're way, way overhyped. Big 12, by a long shot, is the number one conference in America. The toughest teams, the most depth in the conference. So Texas Tech, man, they're used to it. Toppin, Williams, some other guys on the team, very, very good coaching. I worry about Arkansas's offense. It'll be an interesting game for sure, but I'm going to go with Texas Tech to find a way to survive in this one. 28th. Before we do get to the 28th, I do want to just pull something up on the screen for you guys. I want to reply to a comment that was left on my last video. Somebody saying like, hey man, like you don't show your bet slips. Like you must be fake. You must be a scammer, right? Well, I didn't show one in that particular video, but I show them all the time. So I told you guys my unit size is $100. I told you I had a 5-unit max play on Sunday. We cashed that. So the bet slip on the screen for everybody to see, $500, $100 unit size, my 5-unit max play. The 2-team money line parlay does cash. That really helped us there on Sunday. So again, man, I have updated numbers on my screen. There's almost no other YouTube videos that do that. I don't even know of another YouTube channel that literally has updated, like up to totally modernized, up-to-date numbers right on the screen. Usually you have to like go to their website, click on a capper that you like, go into their numbers if you can even find that. Usually you click on the website and they just highlight like who's hot at the top of the list out of like 50 people on their team or whatever. So I show up, I update my numbers, I put them on YouTube. I tell you when I win, I tell you when I lose. And if you want a fucking bet slip, just to remind you guys that I bet every single game that gets sent out on the client list, well, there you go. And if you want to see a $10,000 or more bet slip, some bigger ones, just go back to football season. But I don't include them in every video because it takes time. I got to take the picture, screenshot on my phone, email it to myself, download it, put it in the video, edit it. I don't have time for that. You guys know I'm the real deal, win, lose, or draw. So there you go. Respond to that comment. Hopefully that takes care of that. Ole Miss and Michigan State here, 3.5-point spread. I think Ole Miss a little overvalued coming into this one. I know they look dominant against kind of a pretty good name in Iowa State, but Iowa State, it was just they were just beaten up. They were just not healthy, not even close. I mean, not even remotely close. You could say they were at like quarter throttle. So I think this does make the Rebels look overrated. I'll go with Michigan State. I think they're going to survive somehow, some way. They're always tough at the end. Maybe they have another clunker of a first half, but they always seem to just dig their nails in and dig their feet in and find a way to finish in the winning column. So I'm going to go with Sparty here to find a way to win this one. Kentucky and Tennessee. This one's intriguing. Kentucky's beat them twice. It's hard to beat someone 3 times. I like this Kentucky team, though, and I think it's impossible. Or I shouldn't say impossible. I think people will think it's impossible that they're going to go ahead and beat Tennessee again, but I'm absolutely going to go that route. I'm going to take Kentucky here. I'm going to lean that way for now. I'm going to look more into it. We'll have to see some of the health. I mean, you got to look at Butler with his shoulder. You got to look at Richardson and some of the other guys on the, or not Richardson, I think Richmond, or I might be getting a couple guys mixed up with St. John's. That was a lot of basketball this previous weekend. My mind's a little bit cooked right now. Just the one other guy there in Kentucky, a lot of offense from him. So got to look into a couple players on Kentucky, but if they're at 100%, yeah, they're going to beat him a third time. They're the better team. They beat him twice. Why can't they beat him a third time? Michigan Auburn. I think this one can be in the upset conversation. I said it. Janai Broome doesn't look that athletic to me. Looks kind of slow. Doesn't really have a lot of bounce. He's talented, but I think this is one of the most overrated teams in the nation. Despite everything Michigan's been doing, they're still getting disrespected. 2 7-footers. Good luck, Janai Broome. I think Golden will have a big game. I like the mentality of Michigan, and we saw even when they're down, they're not just going to go away. So I'm going to go Michigan here. I'm going to lean Michigan's way in this one. And then to round out the Sweet 16, guys, we got Purdue and Houston. And I think Purdue has just kind of been lucky with a couple of lesser opponents. They don't have the depth. I don't think they have the toughness. Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer. Kaufman-Renn, now you get to play Houston. This Houston team seems like they're on a mission this year. I gotta go Houston here. If you're gonna pick a team to win the game, I gotta go with Houston to get it done and win this one. So there you go, guys. There are all my predictions for who's gonna win the Sweet 16 games. Again, like I said, I'll have an updated video here later this week. Maybe my official upset, more in-depth breakdowns of upsets, maybe tomorrow. And then my official spread predictions for Thursday will be out Wednesday night. So again, hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video. Let me know what you guys think about the first 2 rounds in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next vid.